Hey, welcome to the Early Morning Musician. This show is for artists committed to creating in the margins.
Before their day jobs, after the kids are asleep.
From the business trip or the basement.
We get it, and we're going to share everything we've learned along the way.
Welcome to
The Early Morning Musician. Guys, welcome back to The Early Morning Musician. I'm Ryan.
I'm Carissa, and this is episode 18.
Wow, we're killing it right now.
Yeah.
18.
We have been doing this for...
18 weeks.
Okay.
Nailed that.
I don't know how long that is, but today we're going to talk about how we missed our first...
We failed.
We missed a deadline for the first time.
Our first music deadline for the year. Missed.
And these deadlines are completely made up.
We made them up ourselves.
Have zero consequences. But we've been adhering to it all year because we know the importance of a good mental deadline. You know?
I feel like you have to have them.
They say, like, just set one and make it as important in your own mind as you can and try your best to keep them. So we have kept deadline for...
Since January of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about to be... When this podcast goes live, it'll be October.
Yeah, it will be October 1st, I think. So if you're watching this and our next song is not up, which it's not going to be.
No.
Because it's not done right now.
We put our last song, Ultra Conditional, out on like the last day of August, and we are going to skip September.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We were so close, though. I mean, literally, we're going to wake up tomorrow. You are going to track 2 or 3 final little vocal pieces.
Yeah.
And then it's done. All it has to do is be mixed and it's done.
Right.
Like, it was so close. He worked
his little booty off.
so many extra hours trying to make it happen. I was so close, but I just couldn't do it. I just could not get it done.
But on the upside, this song is so cool.
I really like it.
I really like it
It's really
too.
cool. And honestly, like listening back to it, it sounds like a good October release.
It's perfect for October.
I don't think that I could have intentionally written something for October and it not sounded like cheesy. Like I wrote a Halloween song, you know what I mean? Or like I was trying to be too on the nose. Like I made it sound really dark. It just happened that I was writing September song, ended up being really edgy, kind of dark, and
because you were mad.
I was mad. Yeah,
you were mad when you wrote it.
We had some stuff go on the last several weeks that I've been in my feelings a little bit, so I was feeling feisty. And what started off as it was like a super chill, very just like indie acoustic song.
It was giving the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it was giving the Beatles.
Well, I don't mean it was giving the magnitude of the Beatles. I just mean it was giving happy.
It's kind of giving that vibe. Yeah. And it does have like a little happy part. If you listen towards the end, it moves into like a more major open kind of sound, but like 3/4 of the song is like
the maddest you've ever been.
Yeah, super aggressive drums. I put like a saturator on an acoustic guitar because I was like, I wanted an acoustic driven song, but I wanted it to be like the meanest acoustic you ever heard. So I didn't use electric guitar except for one tiny little part that you probably won't even hear in the song. It's kind of tucked away, buried in there. The song's really carried by drums and acoustic guitar, and they are both extremely aggressive.
What is a saturator?
It's like distortion. It's like what makes the guitar sound like rock and roll. You obviously hear it on electric guitars a lot. It's what makes them sound like mean and gritty. And you don't typically hear them on acoustic guitars. Maybe, in a mixing sense, it's pretty common to do that. But I did it in a very forward, like homie definitely distorted his acoustic guitar and made it sound kind of like an electric guitar. And it sounds really sick. Like I'm into it.
So when Ryan was a kid and started using distortion,
forgot about that.
How did your grandma find out about distortion?
Yeah, that's a good question. The best I remember is I had just gotten like my first guitar pedal, maybe. Like someone had received it as a gift from someone, maybe my parents, and we were sitting in a room and someone else brought it up. Like someone knew that my grandmother would not appreciate it because she is extremely traditional. Like they are very, very traditional in their faith. And, they went to a very, very small church that was just like, I won't go into exactly what it was, but it's just like a small, very small church thing in like deep in the hills of Arkansas. And someone told her Ryan has a distortion pedal for his guitar. And she was like, distortion? That doesn't sound like Jesus.
She was like, do you know what distortion means, son?
Exactly.
It means twisting.
Yeah. She went and got like a Webster's dictionary out of the cabinet and was like, look at what the word distort means. And of course, it's, it had some sort of definition of like, to deviate from
the truth.
From the truth. Yeah, it said something like that. And she was like, then she got kind of fiery and she was like, hey, that's not Christian guitar because it's distorted.
Right.
And then, of course, I was like, well, I guess I love this then. So I'll never turn him back. And then, here I am 15 years later writing this acoustic, distorted, aggressive song for, I guess, October now.
And our indie band name has her name.
Yes, my indie band name is her name, Geraldene.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah. If I'm being totally honest, though, I originally picked it just because it sounded cool. But now I also do love it because my grandmother, no one will probably ever hear her sing. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She has the coolest,
so cool,
raspy thing. She does this thing that like I don't hear anyone do ever.
It reminds me of like a muted trumpet, like if a trumpet has a mute in it.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's got so much vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could capture it and hone it, like I feel like I could use it somewhere.
Like sample it.
Right, but how would I get my grandmother, hey grandma, would you please come and sing in my indie rock band? Please.
I can't, I don't know if she would love it or hate it, but I think she
might would do it.
She dances for us at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
In the living room. But anyway, so we are going to release this in October, and we kind of decided that this was going to be a cool opportunity. We're seeing the silver lining here because with all of our every month releases, we've never been able to submit it to Spotify to go on an editorial playlist because you have to submit them at least 2 weeks in advance.
It's at least 2 weeks, but they actually say like you need to actually do 4 if you want to have time to actually get on a list. And I have submitted a couple, but I only had like maybe maximum of 2 weeks before the song came out. So I knew in doing it that it was futile. Like I was not, probably no one was even going to listen to the song in 2 weeks because everyone is submitting their songs. There are 10 million artists on Spotify and there are 100,000 songs a day that go live. So you can imagine if there's 120,000 songs going up, everyone's submitting to get on playlists. It takes probably 4 weeks, 5 weeks just for your song to even be heard. So we had never, I'd submitted a couple times, never really heard anything, but I knew like no one's even getting a chance to listen to this. So with this one, we're, assuming that we get this song done probably this week, hopefully, we would have time to do that, actually roll it out to a playlist or to, push it to Spotify, run some sort of campaign, and then release it close to Halloween.
Yeah, there hasn't really been
aggressive.
There hasn't really been any pre-marketing done on our part for any of our songs.
No.
It's just been release them and then talk about them for a few weeks and then move on to the next.
Yeah. This year it has really, the focus has been build the catalog, like start building. So many artists, it feels like they get, their first like 3 songs done and they start announcing new EP coming soon. And they're like announcing it like 6 months in advance. And before they even release any music, you're already like a little burned out about hearing it. And then when they release it, it's like maybe not great and you're just kind of done. And like I did not want to do that. So I was like, I had 2 songs up. I didn't even tell anybody. And it wasn't until I was saying like, hey, I have a song coming out. I think it was like 2 or 3 days before the 3rd song went live. I actually posted it online. I was like, hey, I have a 3rd song going online. And everyone was like, 3rd? Like, what about the first 2? And I was like, oh yeah, they're already up. Just go listen. Because it's just not about the marketing. It is really, the focus is build the catalog. I feels like you really got to prove yourself to people. Like, are you going to actually show up as an artist and are you going to serve people consistently? Because that really is the name of the game when it comes to songwriting or any art. Like, can you consistently serve up whatever it is, pictures or, photography, music, whatever? Can you serve it up consistently? Because we all live in this TikTok algorithm world where like, even I want new entertainment now. When I get in bed tonight, I'm going to open up my TikTok app and I'm going to want new stuff right now. And I'm going to want the artists that I follow to have something new posted that I think is cool. And because what they posted yesterday, I don't give a rip about. And I recognize that in myself. And I know that in order to be successful, every musician has to adapt to this world. Short form content, short form entertainment is the name of the game. And if you do not want to get on that train, don't even try to do music right now. Like, because that literally is the game. In fact, I heard a really interesting, someone was talking about how when vinyl records first came out, it really shook up the music community because all music had only ever been done like live, like on stage or like televised. So there was this freedom that musicians felt to like ad lib or to like change things and make the performance very, very unique. And then when vinyls came out, it really shook the music industry, and artists complained, like, they're like, oh, what, like, you just want to take this one performance of my song and you think that one performance encapsulates the whole song? Like, that's going to kill the music industry. Like, we won't get to, like, in the moment do what's right for the song, and it's going to fail. Everything, like, it was a huge uproar. Of course, vinyl changed. Like, it changed the game, and that became how music was purchased. And then the same outcries happened when CDs hit the market. They're like, oh no, the sound quality, it's not the same. Everyone migrated to CDs. It changed the game. And then it, as CD sales went away and streaming took over, everyone was like, no, streaming's going to kill the game. Everyone had to adapt. Streaming changed it for everybody. And now short form content is doing that same thing. And all musicians across the board are panicking, like, it's ruining the art. Like, who cares about TikToks? I just want to do my art. Like, everybody's complaining. But the thing is this is where music is right now. And if you want to do anything, even remotely successful, not even just for people to look at it, you have to do it in short form content. Like, it's not going to exist outside of that. So you've got to be adaptable. And that's what we're doing, with our deadlines. We're trying to adapt to the short form game. We're disciplining ourselves to do that. But, life happens. We've had a lot of insane things happen this year that are just like random one-off things, just life happening. And it has slowly eaten away the cushion that I had at the beginning of the year. And so now we've missed our first one, but there is definitely a silver lining. We're going to get to do a couple things we haven't gotten to do yet. And I think we're still going to probably do at least maybe one more song before the year is over. Technically, we started in like June of last year, so we've been doing this a little over a year now. But I think we're going to do one more before the year is over, and then we might take just a tiny break to try to get a head start on the songs for 2025. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't catch my time up somewhere, I'm going to start 2025
in the hole.
So I don't want to do that. I don't think that's sustainable. So I think we'll probably do something a little more simple for our next song, take a short break, still be doing the podcast, of course, and all the other things, but maybe hold back a song until January. But I don't, that's not set in stone. I'm just kind of spitballing now that I'm here and I'm living in the moment, because I thought I might rush the song to push it out, but I feel like it's too good to just rush it. I feel like it'd be such a waste to not take it all the way, because it's really a cool song,
Yeah. Have you felt that way about any of the other songs? That this is too good for me to put out this fast?
I've thought that a couple of times, yeah. I thought that about Hold Me Up when we did that one. Mm-hmm. Looking back now, I'm glad I released it. I'm glad I didn't hold on to it. I'm glad I went ahead and put it out there. Mm-hmm. I had that feeling then. That might have been the only other one where I was like, I feel like this one's strong. Mm-hmm. I might have thought that a little bit about right there, but I'm definitely glad I didn't spin my wheels on that one, because it was maybe the least well-received song that we've done, but still maybe my favorite one so far.
But not in Brazil on SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's random on SoundCloud.
Thank you, Brazilians who love right there on SoundCloud.
I didn't know that people even still really used SoundCloud. I didn't really know it was.
It's not the majority.
It's not, but it's like we put our stuff up there and immediately, like, it was within like 2 days, we were put on 2 different playlists or something, and people were commenting and liking stuff, and I was like, whoa, wait a second, people use this app? Like, I haven't logged into a SoundCloud in like 15 years. Like,
Yeah.
I just didn't know people did that. So sorry, we left out all you SoundCloud folks. My bad. I didn't know.
Thanks to the TikTok comment who asked for us to put our stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah, yeah. And it's weird how you just like put it up there yourself. You know, every other streaming platform, I have to go through a distributor, submit my songs, like get approval from their staff, and then they got to send it off and get approval from the streaming platforms first, and then I got to submit lyrics. And it's like a process. I got to have all these different codes in place, like ISRC, IRSC, I forget what they're called.
Which we've done something wrong this whole entire year because we haven't been able to figure out how to get our lyrics on Spotify through our distributor.
It's a format thing, I think. I don't know. I've fixed a few and they came up, but it's one of those things where like I know that I need to go back and fix all of them, but I'm with how tight my schedule has been and how I've been falling behind, I've had to like choose other things that were more important. But
yeah,
I know a girl who's really good with words though, and who's great at like typing really fast. Who could definitely do that.
We'll figure it out. But maybe. Next year, do you think it's best for us to do the same thing, to do the song a month format and try to stick really closely to it?
I don't know. Maybe we could do this thing. We could give ourselves a bit more space. Essentially, what we could do is like write a song and like give ourselves like we're going to write it, get it all the way done, submit it to Spotify or whoever, send it off to playlists, and then like not release it for like 8 weeks. But that would mean that our first, like let's say we worked on a song all the way through November and December, that means it would not be released until late February or early March. And then if we continued like releasing a song a month, it would be fine because then the next song would go live a month later and a month later and a month later and a month later. But we'd have to build in that like 8-week cushion. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I haven't really sat down to think about 2025 yet. I know that is like approaching. I say that it's just now October almost. So I guess I still have 1/4 of the year left. But we do got to start planning because it's gonna be a big year for us. I feel like having I'm excited about song 10. That's a huge milestone for music. That means we will be ahead of 8 million other artists on the Spotify platform. That's nuts. 8 of the 10 million people on Spotify have less than 10 songs. And there was another statistic. I had it on my phone saved to talk about it another time, but it was like there's another one that's like, I'll get it wrong if I try to say it right now, but we're doing good. Like 10 songs, humongous milestone for us. And next year, we've talked about maybe putting a band together and playing live potentially. I don't know. Maybe we might do that. I don't know. Feels like we might need to wait a bit longer. I don't know for sure. We'll have to plan. We're getting a lot of planning to do.
I mean, I feel like we've learned so much this year about what to do and what not to do. Even, I mean, not only with our music, but with our marketing. Like we learned a lot about what doesn't work on the internet. And we're so surprised by some of the things that did work.
Yeah, I mean, you've really kind of taken the lead. You kind of do way more of the social media side than I do. I mean, I help edit these videos, but you really do all the posting, all the uploading. You reply to most of the comments and stuff. What has that been like for you this year? And like, has having a song a month been hard? Like, what has that been like so far?
Well, I feel like being on TikTok, most artists who are on TikTok pre-launch. So they will do a lot of content around a song that is not yet available. And people will express interest in the comments and be like, when does this come out? I'm waiting for this song. And they build hype that way. We read Nick D's book at the beginning of this year, what was his book called?
Well, it was in like July of last year that we read it.
Oh, okay.
You don't want it bad enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was talking about how like silly that model is, how you need to, if you're going to upload a song, it needs to be available so that if someone even has an inkling of interest in listening to it, they can go straight to it. You're not keeping people waiting. You're not losing like fish that would be on the line. So we tried that this year and, we would, at the beginning of the year, I think when we would announce a song, our people that we know would be really interested in it at first out of just curiosity.
For sure.
Yeah. Like Chris and Ryan are making new music. What does it sound like? What are they talking about? It had like this curiosity factor. Maybe like 6 songs in, the curiosity of the people that we know like noticeably waned enough for us to see who is actually liking our music, who's actually listening, and how do we find the people out there who are actually going to like our stuff, people we don't know,
right.
you know? So marketing became so much more important because the numbers were telling us, you know?
And I think that might actually be the focus more next year.
Yeah.
You know, because it feels one of the things in Nick D's book was like the power of a music catalog. And that's why he was saying like you should never like pre-roll or like pre-save or whatever, like pre-market a song before it's out, because he was saying like if anything you do, if any video you do or clip or whatever goes viral and your song isn't out, you've just blown it, because all that traffic that would have been pushed to the streaming platform where you would have actually made some money, they couldn't go and listen. So now you're going to have to try to do that again once the song is out and decide how to like creating a viral video. It's like, you know, it's hard. No one really knows what the equation is to do it. Like there are maybe a couple people
that it's changing all the time. I mean, I figure, I think like even Nick D's model that worked previously, if you guys are familiar with his stuff, that worked super well for early TikTok, because early TikTok was all about people covering songs, you know?
Yeah,
like
that was
the
a big
kind of
thing,
like
yeah.
the kind of live singing illusion.
Yes.
The vulnerability illusion. And now I feel like what's happening, even just a few years later, maybe the most interesting thing I've seen on TikTok this year in relation to music marketing is that guy who his username is not even his band name, and he creates this repetitive prank content around his song. And it's one song. It's been one song for months, and I only know that one part that he uses over and over. But you guys have probably seen him. He has a cameraman, and you know, he hits someone in the head with a cotton ball, and then when they make eye contact with him,
oh yeah,
he looks at them like he's in love with them.
Right. He's got like the face where he's like, and he smolders.
He does the smolder.
Yeah.
He looks at him like he's in love with them.
He like
and
does
then
the look up thing. It's so funny.
His song's playing in the background, and the camera person is capturing this stranger's reaction to being rizzed up.
Right. You think it's just a funny account, but the truth is he's actually promoting his music, and you don't even know that the song he's using is his song.
Yes.
You think he just clipped a song.
It's so much sneakier and more covert than it used to be, I feel like.
Right. You almost have to trick people into listening.
Yes.
That's the kind of the tactic he's taking.
Because entertainment has become so valuable and so potent, and the ability for the user to sniff out self-promotion has become
or sales. People don't like to feel sold
so
to.
Instinctive. That's been something that has been challenging for me to figure out, is like, you can't even just like sing your song on social media anymore.
Right.
And it be interesting to people. People want to see something novel, something like risky, something crazy, something, you know, super relatable. So like maybe just as an example, we would market our stuff in the beginning of this year with like a DSLR camera. So like a big camera, like a good professional quality camera. And we would just kind of sing our songs. And pretty quickly we realized that may not be the model anymore.
Yeah, it was just a ton of effort and not a lot of views. And we were like, oh, okay, so that's okay. That's not what people are wanting.
Yeah.
So the question, it was never like, oh, we're mad. People don't like all of our hard work. We were like, okay, you know, we were serving something people didn't want. So how do we find the content that people want?
Yeah. And I mean, I was able to feel if I am a user scrolling on this app, I would scroll past this. I don't want to watch this. So what do I want to watch? What people want to watch is something that doesn't have a hint of like, I'm promoting my song.
Yeah.
I'm pre-selling my song. Please pre-save, like and share, subscribe. That they don't want that while they're using their like valuable free time. So one day, just as an example, Ryan was up here working and there was a tractor working across the road, like bush hogging the grass.
Yeah.
And he had like
Look at that beach umbrella.
It was
multicolored.
It was the prettiest scalloped rainbow umbrella. It was just so pretty and cute.
And he had this like 1970s looking tractor. And
yeah,
he was just
like
out there
rusty red. And this like adorable umbrella was above him. And Ryan was like, you should put sunburn season on top of this,
Yeah.
and post it. And I was super surprised that just something like that did so much better than some of the other stuff that we had posted and done that was much more intentional, took a lot more hard work. So anyway, we're trying to, with every single month, figure out what works and what doesn't. It's like a puzzle, man. It's just like can you believe that trial and error involves error?
Yeah, like who would have thought that like you have to fail a whole bunch before you figure out how to do stuff. But we're fine. Like we've got our next song. It's I think going to be one of our strongest. I think it's going to be one of our best releases for sure. I think we just got a lot going for us on this one. So I appreciate everybody sticking with us and letting us miss our goal this month.
Yeah.
But we're super excited about this next song, and hopefully it will be out closer to Halloween. So keep your ears open, and I don't know, maybe we'll pre-play some of it or something in some of our TikToks.
We're talking about how we haven't been doing that and why, and really we're saying like maybe we're about to do that and just see how it goes.
We just haven't done that yet, and it feels like we need to try something.
So
we're like, maybe we'll do a couple, and if it goes good, then we'll do more. But if it doesn't,
throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
So anyway,
all right,
guys, thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks for listening and hanging out. And we will see you next time on the Early
Like and
Musician.
subscribe.
Yeah, but people don't like it when you say that, Ryan.
But do it, please.
No, people don't like it. It has to be like a secret.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Secretly like and subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.